The air feels different in autumn, softer, cooler, and the colours are shifting every day. I want to try and capture that fleeting moment when the leaves turn from green to gold and the light feels warm and the air turns crisp. I'm looking for things in my garden that are inspiring me. Rowan berries, rose hips, acorn leaves. But with a recent tutorial, somebody brought these in. Aren't they beautiful? Little lanterns of light. And although the leaves have dried slightly, I thought it would make a really quick, easy watercolour study to capture that autumn fire. Let's get into it. In this sketch, I'm keeping the brushwork loose, letting the water do most of the work. It's all about letting pigments mingle and create their own quiet patterns. Physalis, you can even eat the fruits of these, but this is a garden variety that was kindly donated during one of our recent workshops. And I thought, what a beautiful thing to try and capture in watercolour. So because of the nature of autumn and decay, as you can notice, I've got a piece of paper on a block here. I think it might be the last one in my Jackson's Art rough block. And it's got all sorts of stuff on it, which I've no idea what it is. It's pigment from something or other. Because it's a rough and ready sketch, I'm not going to worry about that. So I'm just going to do a very loose pencil sketch of the rough shape, nothing too intense and nothing to worry about. So to show you what I mean, just do a very quick sketch of the shapes that I just want to capture something. Just because something looks like something does not mean to say you have to put it like that. So I'm just going to let that one overlap here. They're almost like hearts, aren't they? This is not a botanical painting, this is not a botanical drawing, that's for sure. Just trying to capture the looseness and the shape. It's quite papery, and when you touch it, it feels papery. So just going to have one dropping down there, and then we have a leaf that comes out which is already dried and shriveled. So let's just have that coming across that way. As you can see, I'm not taking too much care. I wouldn't normally draw this much detail, but it's just to help you see what I'm going to try and paint. There's like veins in this papery area here. So I've got the leaf coming across there. So to sort of frame it almost, we need something going on the other side. So behind this stem we could have another leaf that just overlaps under the stem and behind the fruit. So we've got some sort of layout there. That'll do. We're not going to do any more than that. So what sort of colours could we use? Well, we could start off with some paler colours and add deeper colours into them. So it's clearly going to be an orange type of colour. The simplest way to make orange is a warm red and a warm yellow. These are both cadmiums. However, if you've got other colours in your palette, like raw sienna, burnt sienna, I've got my homemade burnt sienna here, or Quin Gold is a nice one. Anything that looks warm and bright, you can mix it to suit yourself. So that's my sketch, I'm done. What I'm going to do now is prepare my paints. So I've just wet some of my warm colours here. Can you see that the raw sienna is quite opaque looking? It's if I put that on first, I would lose some of the translucency I'm trying to manage to find. So I'm not going to use that one just yet. I'm going to go in with my cadmium yellow first and do a wash completely over this first seed head. I think it's a seed head. It's an absolutely lovely plant. I have grown it in the garden before, but I haven't seen this one. I think I need to grow it again. I've gone wet on dry there, and this paper is rough, so it's going to collect a little bit of colour as it goes, and let it settle. I'm now grabbing some of my warm cadmium red, not too much, and then going straight back in with some of the red, dropping it over the damp yellow. You can try and follow some of the lines if you like that are within the berry casing, and as you can see, it's already starting to spread and do its own thing. So quite liking the fact that I've got the bright colour coming through, but it's still a little bit separated, isn't it? So now on my palette I'm going to pop my yellow and some of the red together. So I'm pre-mixing my orange on the palette now. Might not be strong enough, but we'll see. Again, coming back in whilst it's still wet. Just inching that a little bit closer there. This of course will dry quite quickly because I didn't pre-wet the paper. That's looking quite nice. So all I've let it do is just merge together. The paper is still slightly damp, so before it completely dries, let's just try a little bit of burnt sienna on the edges where I might want to suggest it's a little bit darker, just in these edges and along where the leaf is going to overlap, like so. It's very easy to overdo this, so that's probably all I'm going to do. I'm going to stop there. So it's lovely. Look at the textures in there. Absolutely lovely. Whilst this is drying, I've got to be careful not to touch anything against it. I could do, it doesn't really matter. But if I want this leaf to have a crisp edge here, and maybe not so much here, so let's see, what sort of colour shall we mix for a dull green? Well, the leaves are dull, aren't they, because they're old. So use your cadmium yellow and then pick up your ultramarine blue, and you'll get a much duller green than if you added lemon yellow. So can you see how that's nice and dull? It's almost the right colour. It's not very strong. This is my first wash, but it could still do with a little bit more colour in there. So let's pull that all together. If it's still a little bit too green, just pull some of the red into it. Then all of a sudden it goes really dull, because red is opposite green on the colour wheel. So let's pop this one, just using the tip of my brush to suggest a stem there. Picking up some more green and just crinkling along the back here. And I'm actually going to leave the stem that's passing in front of the leaf. Just going to leave that clear. It's going to negatively paint round it. So leaving a little white line at the moment. So this is the way around we're doing. I'm going next to the casing here, and if it does run into it, it doesn't matter because it's just going to soften the edge, because this leaf goes behind at that point. Probably need to just suggest the leaf goes somewhere there. It's just make it up as you go along, it's fine. So that's worked quite nicely. Let that settle, but if you want a little bit more interest, you can see how it's granulating a little bit there. If you want a little bit more going on, pick up your rich yellow and your blue again. Just make them a little bit stronger, nice and dull. dull green, pop a bit of red or orange into it, make it duller. That's thicker and stronger, so I can now drop that in, especially behind the berry here. Let it merge. This bit's slightly dried off, that's fine. Drop it in places, not everywhere. Less so towards the edges. See if you can keep a steady hand. There we go, that worked quite nicely. So going back, let's just try a slightly different technique. So this one is probably not quite dry, but nevertheless, I'm going to go in, going to use this angled brush, which is quite handy for popping shapes, things around. So I'm just leaving a little gap between that and that. Not because I have to, but because it shows you just a different technique. If I touch against that now, it might leach in, and we don't necessarily want it to. So that's just pure water. If you can't see, if you've covered it all, pick it up and look for the shiny effect of the water, just wherever you want it to go. If you've got a huge puddle, just try and distribute it a little better. Let it sit for a moment. Now this time we've got water on the paper, so the paint we're putting on, we really want that to be a little bit richer. So the paint that I dropped in earlier would probably do, but you know, let's vary it a little bit. So picking up more of the lovely cadmium yellow, mix that in. Try now not to add too much water. So whenever I wash my brush, I'm just wiping it clean slightly. Just drop in some pure blue in again, pull that together, pull some orange in, cool, dull that down a little bit more. There we go. That's a lovely green, but it will be slightly different to the previous one, which means it will look nice and interesting. So using this one here to come up from the bottom there. I'll come back to that in a minute. Right, let's go for it. Let's drop this all in. As you go, pick up paint from different parts of your palette. This is a great way to use up some paint you've got sitting around. Once you understand how to mix your colours, you can mix anything you like. So the water is taking this off now. Just throwing a little bit more yellow in as I get further around this leaf. The yellow is slightly more opaque. Dropping it down, just left a little suggestion of a line there, which could possibly be a leaf vein, etc. And mix my brush, so I've got a little bit of a lump of yellow in it. Right, let's pick up some darker blue, again with a little bit of the red added. So that's way too much. You can see I've gone to a browny blue there. Just pick some of that up, add it back into your green. There we go. You can see you're getting a slightly different colour. It's a little bit darker and a bit grayer. This is still really wet, so we can add this in. It's up to you where. Just pop it where you think it works. Just trying to suggest something's going on over there. This bit here is a little bit harsh, and a nice trick for a watercolour painting is to celebrate the watercolour. So just put a damp brush next to a really over-saturated area. Can you see? Just let it bleed away. It's a lovely way to add texture, which is why I wasn't worried about these background marks on the paper. This one might have gone too far for me to do it, but let's see. Just tickle and so you get a nice soft edge. It's a little bit too much going on there, so you just lift it off. You start to use that to get your effects behind the plant. There we go. Have a play with that. It's quite a nice technique, but it might not be for you. it's a little bit looser, a little bit more scary to let the paint go outside of the lines, but it's fun. It's just water, not soaking wet, just enough to pull it out. There we go. It's got a very, very loose thing going on there. As I say, if you don't like it, it's not working, squeeze out a brush. I've gone back to my angle brush and just follow it around and lift it off. Look at that, easy peasy. Or your trusty paper towel. There we go. What you put on, you can take off. I'm going to stop there because I shall probably ruin it. So with that in mind, I can use the paint I've just been using, but with a little bit more water and a touch of lemon yellow. Just paint over this side, just to give this a nice edge to it. See, I've changed the green slightly, so it looks different to what we've got already. Probably not enough water there, so it's just gone a little bit solid. Just soften it away. Take that colour where you like. And let's put the same colour on this side so it doesn't look like it's on its own. Compositionally, you're trying to balance your picture. But in all honesty, you could watch as many videos as you like on composition, but it's what you think looks right. There's lots of rules and things that you can follow, but believe me, you know when something looks how you want it and when something doesn't. And sometimes you can't even explain it. That's looking quite nice. And right, we're going back to the point of a round brush and these little stems. So I'm going to pop in that raw sienna I showed you at the beginning. I'm going to just mix that into the side of this mucky green here. Just pull that in. So I'm still using the colours I've got. See how much more opaque it is? It's quite thick, isn't it? Let's drag it over into this green now. So we've got a few varieties of that now going on. Right, let's see what that looks like. So using the point of the brush, it's quite grey, so I'm going to go back to the one with more sienna in it. Just drag that through there. This is the, whoops, now you see what happened there, it ran away because this area was still wet. It's not a problem, you can just lift it off again, like that. There you go. So going back into pure raw sienna now, and just pop a couple of dots of that on in places. In here. Can you see I've got a white line between the leaf and the berry case there, so I'm just going to pop that sienna in there just to get rid of that white line. That's better. That's worked quite well. It's a nice warm colour. Into the grey area of it, I could suggest there's a shadow in there. So I'm just using that mucky sienna and green. And let's see where else we could pop it, just to suggest there's some shadows, especially up this end, under that leaf, like so. There. Now we've got all those hard edges, so you've got one hard edge, squeeze your brush out and soften the other hard edge. Don't have two. There we go. Soften. That's the hard edge, this is soft. Sometimes it doesn't work that well, but do you know what? It doesn't matter. This one needs softening. Right. Definitely got an edge wrong here, so I'm going back to my angle brush. Oh, excuse me, big sneeze that was. Going back to my angle brush and softening away an edge on this side. There we go. See that? Let's do that again on this one. So I've added on, now I'm taking off. I've really stopped looking at the reference material now, and I'm just playing with what looks right. Okay, it's a little bit of white in here which we could just lose with the very weak mix of sienna and green, especially in that bit there and that bit there. And I feel like I need to take this one off further as well. But when it gets up that far, just soften it away. There we go. And that, I think, is that. So again, we used lots of techniques. We used a very simple reference, a crumpled up leaf. Not bad, is it, colour-wise? I'm not a great colour matcher. I don't particularly like matching colours exactly, but I think we captured it. So if you can capture anything similar, well done. You don't have to use these. Obviously, you might not have these. Pixabay might have pictures for you of this sort of Chinese lantern plant, which is really useful to use if you like a direct reference. But ideally, go and see what's in your garden and try and capture the beauty of autumn in the loosest way as you possibly can, and enjoy it. Autumn never lasts long, but in watercolour you can hold on to that glow just a little bit longer. If you enjoy these quiet painting moments, I'd love you to subscribe and paint along with me again next time. Take care, happy painting, and see you all soon. Bye for now.